Hello everybody, welcome back to Who's Line of Wisdom. So far I've been your host, Zero Yeti. It is the South American special, devoted to animals around the South American continent. Let's go into it with the first animal of the week being the bush dog, which is a canine that can be found throughout Central and South America, but is a rare occurrence outside of Suriname, Guyana, and Peru. They primarily inhabit lowland rainforests as well as wetlands below 6,000 feet in elevation. They may also be found in the drier Cerrado and other grasslands, typically along rivers. They are a small canine, typically standing no more than 8 to 12 inches tall at the shoulder, measuring around 25 to 40 inches from nose to tail, and weigh in around 11 to 18 pounds. They sport short legs, webbed feet, small snouts, and rounded ears, and a bushy tail. Adult bush dogs have soft, long, brownish tan fur and with a lighter reddish tinge on the head, neck, back, and tail. They have a underside which is dark and sometimes with a lighter patch on the throat. Younger individuals, however, are almost completely black coloration, and they gradually get lighter as they age. Bush dogs are diurnal carnivores, which typically feed upon pacas, agouti, capybaras, reptiles, and small ground birds. However, when hunting in packs, the dogs can bring down much larger prey, including peccaries, pampas deer, rayas, and even tapirs. When hunting near water, they are known to implement a particularly ingenious tactic of having half the pack be in the water and the other half be on land, with one group attempting to flush the prey towards the other group, allowing them to better ambush the prey when it has to transition between the two terrains. Bush dogs are monogamous and highly social animals, and they typically tend to live in extended family groups of around 12 individuals. Mating occurs once a year with only the eldest pair breeding. After a 67-day pregnancy, the mother will give birth to a litter of between 1 to 10 pups, although 3 to 6 is far more common. The young are weaned at around 4 weeks and reach sexual maturity about a year of age. Under ideal conditions, a bush dog may live upwards of 10 years. Next up is the red-bellied piranha, also known as the red piranha, is a species of piranha native to South America and can be found throughout the Amazon, Paraguay, Parana, Essequibo basins, as well as the coastal rivers of the northeastern Brazil. Here, the red-bellied piranha inhabits a wide range of habitats, including rivers, streams, lakes, floodplains, and flooded forests, where they prefer white water but can also occasionally be found in clear water and black water conditions. As their name suggests, red-bellied piranhas have a reddish tinge on the belly, which when they are fully grown, although juveniles are silver in color with dark spots. The rest of the body is often gray with silver flecked scales, and the pectoral and pelvic fins are typically red or orange in coloration. Females can be distinguished from males by the slightly deeper red color of their bellies. Reaching up to 20 inches long and upwards of 8 pounds in weight, the red-bellied piranha is considered to be the smallest species of piranha, with individuals rarely exceeding 14 inches in length. Despite the piranha's reputation as a dangerous carnivore, it is actually primarily a scavenger and a forager, mostly feeding upon plants, insects, worms, crustaceans, and other fish. In particularly large schools of 100 or more individuals, they have been known to go after larger prey, such as birds, reptiles, and mammals, up to the size of a capybara, but notably will only go after the animal if the animal is weak, sick, injured, or dying. Red-bellied piranhas do not stay in groups primarily in order to pack hunt for larger animals, but instead the schooling behavior is mainly for protection against their predators, of which the red-bellied piranha has several, including caimans and other crocodilians, snakes, large birds, river dolphins, and larger fish. Piranha tend to mate twice a year in conjunction with the seasonal onset of the rains, during which time females will lay several thousand eggs near water plants onto which the eggs stick and the males then fertilize. After just 2 to 3 days, the eggs will hatch and juvenile piranhas will hide in their nesting plants, being guarded by their parents until they are large enough to defend themselves. Red-bellied piranha reach sexual maturity around 1 year of age and may live upwards of 20 years under ideal conditions. Next up is the vicuña, also known as the vicuna, is a wild South American camelid native to the high alpine areas of the Andes Mountains throughout Chile, Peru, Bolivia, and Ecuador and Argentina, at around 10,500 to 15,700 feet in elevation. Vicuña are believed to be the wild ancestors of the domesticated alpaca and are famous for their ability to produce small amounts of extremely fine wool. which is insanely expensive as the animal can only be shorn every 3 years and has to be caught from the wild in order to be sheared. When knitted together, the product of the vicunia's wool is very soft and warm and amongst the best fabrics in the world. The Inca valued vicuña wool so highly that it was against the law for anyone but royalty to wear vicuña garments. Today, the vicuña is the national animal of Peru and appears on their coat of arms. The vicuña is considerably more lean and gracile than its close relative, the guanaco, and around at 5 feet in length, standing around 3 feet tall at the shoulder and weighing around 150 pounds. They are the smallest extant camelid. Additionally, the long woolly coat is a tawny brown on the back, whereas the hair on the throat and chest is white and quite long. The head is slightly shorter than the guanacos and the ears are slightly longer. Vicuñas live in family-based groups between 5 and 15 individuals, led by a dominant male. They spend their days feeding off grasses, forbs, and shrubs in grassy plains of the Andes Mountains, but return to the high rocky slopes to sleep at night. This is to avoid predators, and their chief predators include pumas and the Andean wild dog. Mating typically occurs between March and April, and after a gestation period around 11 months, the female gives birth to typically a single fawn, which is then nursed for around 10 months. The fawn becomes independent around 12 to 18 months old, after which the young males will form bachelor groups, the young females will form sorority herds. Under ideal conditions, they will reach sexual maturity around 2 years of age and may live up to 20 years. Next up is Cuvier's dwarf caiman, also known as the musky caiman, the dwarf caiman, Cuvier's caiman, the wedge-headed caiman, and the smooth-fronted caiman. It is a small crocodilian in the alligator family that is native to Brazil, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, French Guiana, Paraguay, Peru, and Suriname, as well as Trinidad and Venezuela. Here it inhabits riverine and flooded forests near lakes and fast-flowing rivers and streams. They are primarily nocturnal species which spends their days sunning themselves and resting inside of burrows before emerging at night to hunt fish, amphibians, small mammals, birds, crabs, shrimps, mollusks, and other invertebrates. Dwarf caimans themselves are preyed upon by jaguars, green anacondas, and large boa constrictors. They are the second smallest extant crocodilian behind the dwarf crocodile. And then females are smaller than males, averaging around 3.5 to 4 feet in length and 13 pounds in weight, compared to males at 5 to 5.5 feet in length and 15 pounds in weight. These caimans sport thick body armor on both its dorsal and ventral sides, which may compensate for its small body size and reducing risk of predation. The head is an unusual shape for a crocodilian, with a dome-shaped skull and a short, smooth, concave snout. With an upturned tip, the shape rather resembles the head of a dog. The upper jaw extends markedly further than the lower jaw, and the neck is relatively slender, with the dorsal scutes being less prominent than in the smooth-fronted caiman, and the double rows of scutes on the back being more projected vertically. Adults are dark brownish-black with a dark brown head, while juveniles are brown with black bands. The irises of the eyes are chestnut brown at all ages, and the pupils are vertical slits. Adult Cuvier's dwarf caimans are usually found singly or in pairs, and mating occurs year-round, after which the female will build a mound of vegetation and mud somewhere in a concealed location, where she will lay a clutch of 10 to 25 eggs, and before hiding it under further vegetation. After a 90-day incubation period, the eggs begin to hatch, and the mother opens the nest in response to the calls being made by the young. She stays with and cares for the young for several weeks, after which time the hatchlings disperse. The young grow at a rate around 3 to 4 inches per year and reach sexual maturity around 8 years of age. Under ideal conditions, a Cuvier's dwarf caiman may live upwards of 25 years. Next up is the Andean condor, which is a species of South American bird in the New World vulture family Carthotheridae, and is the only member of the genus Vulture. It is named after the South American Andes Mountains and the Santa Marta mountain ranges. It can be found throughout Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Bolivia, and western Argentina. Its habitat is mainly comprised of open grasslands and alpine areas of up to 16,000 feet in elevation, where they technically prefer relatively open, non-forested areas which allow them to better spot carrion from the air. They are primarily scavengers, feeding on the carcasses of large animals such as cetaceans, sharks, llamas, tapirs, deer, rhea, and livestock. However, they do occasionally hunt small live animals, such as rodents, small birds, rabbits, as well as steal the eggs of other birds. Measuring around 3.3 to 4.3 feet in length, 24 to 33 pounds in weight, and sporting a wingspan of 10 foot 10 inches, the Andean condor is the largest flying bird species, only being rivaled by the trumpeter swan, great buzzard, and Dalmatian pelican in size. The adult plumage is all black except for the frill of white feathers at the base of the neck, especially in the male, the large white feathers, and the large white bands on the wings. The head and neck are red to blackish red and have few feathers. The beak is hooked and adapted to tear into rotting prey as a result of its diet. Their baldness allows the skin to be more exposed to sterilizing effects of dehydration and the high altitude UV light. The crown on the head is flattened and in the male is topped by a dark red comb with a wattle on the neck. Juveniles are grayish brown with a blackish head and neck and a brown ruff. There is a well-developed social structure within large groups of these condors, with competition to determine the pecking order being determined by body language, competitive play behavior, and vocalizations. Andean condors mate for life, with the breeding occurring typically between the months of February and March. Both parents aid in the construction of a nest, which consists of a few sticks placed in inaccessible ledges on rocky cliff faces. Here the mother deposits one or two bluish-white eggs, which are then incubated by both parents for a period around 54 to 58 days. They are able to fly after 6 months, but continue to roost and hunt with their parents till the age of 2. Andean condors reach sexual maturity around 5 to 6 years of age and live upwards of 50 years. Next up is the cotton-top tamarin, also known as the cotton-head tamarin or the crested tamarin, is a small New World monkey exclusively found in both the tropical rainforest and tropical dry forest of northwestern Colombia. Between the Cauca and Magdalena rivers to the south and the east, the Atlantic coast to the north, and the Atrato River to the west. Here they primarily inhabit forest understory where they feed upon fruits, seeds, insects, gum, sap, nectar, and occasionally eggs, small reptiles, and amphibians. The cut-top tamarin is one of the smallest monkey species, weighing in around 15 ounces on average, with a head and body length of around 8 to 10 inches and an additional 13 to 16 inch long, non-prehensile tail. Both sexes sport a sagittal crest of white hairs that run from the forehead to the nape, and they flow over the shoulders. The skin on the face is black and gray, with white bands located above the eyes. These bands continue along the edge of the face down to the jaw, and the fur covers the rest of the body, except for the palms, the hands, and feet that carry. And this fur varies in coloration, with brown on the back, whitish yellow on the arms, legs, and belly, reddish orange on the rump and upper tail. And they are a highly social diurnal primate that typically lives in small multi-generational familial groups of between 2 and 13 individuals. These groups are led by a dominant breeding pair, and the group spends their nights tucked away in tree hollows, emerging after dawn to spend the day foraging, resting, traveling, and grooming, while always having one or more members on lookout for potential predators, such as raptors, mustelids, felines, and snakes. Cotton-top tamarins typically mate between January to June. After a 6 month pregnancy, the mother will typically give birth to 1 to 3 infants, with twins being the most common. At first, they are largely cared for solely by their mother, but after a few weeks of care, After a few weeks, the care becomes a community operation with parents, siblings, and other adults all playing large roles in caring, protecting, feeding, comforting, and teaching the young. Adult tamarins reach sexual maturity around 18 months for females or 24 months for males, and they may live up to 24 years under ideal conditions. And our extinct animal of the week is Bajadasaurus, which is a genus of sauropod dinosaur that lived in what is now northern Argentina during the early Cretaceous period between 145 to 132 million years ago. The only specimen of the dinosaur genus Bajadasaurus was excavated in 2010 by paleontologists from the Science Academy of Argentina. The specimen was discovered in Bajada, Colorado locality at 25 miles south of the town of Pachula-Lafuyette, near the western bank of the Lime River in Patagonia, and it was formally described as a new genus and species, Bajadasaurus pronospinax, by Dr. Paulo Gallina and his colleagues in 2019. The generic name was derived by the Spanish word for Bajada, which means downhill, in reference to the locality of the Bajada, Colorado, and the Greek name Saurus, which is lizard. The specific name of pronospinax is derived from the Latin pronos, which means bent over forward, and the Greek spinax, which means spine. This refers to the long, forward curved neural spines on the neck. The Bajadasaurus is a member of the Dicraeosauridae, which is a family of sauropod dinosaurs that sported long, bifurcated, two-pronged neural spines. Because nearly all of the postcranial skeleton is missing from the original fossil, the descriptions of the animal are largely based on conjecture from the closely related and mostly complete Amargasaurus. Like Amargasaurus, it is thought that Bajadasaurus would have been small compared to most other sauropods, but was still a fairly large four-legged herbivorous animal, reaching roughly the size of the present-day Asian elephant. The tail would have been quite long, measuring as long or longer than the rest of the body. The neck was comparatively short and sported the iconic large spines that rose out of the back from the neck. The purpose of the spines of Bajadasaurus and Amargasaurus is highly speculative, but many believe they may have been used for interspecies combat between differing individuals or against predators. Perhaps massive spikes facing forwards could have been an impressive visual deterrent to a rival or a hungry predator, and that would have rather not had chanced an injury with so many spines pointing towards it. Additionally, the spines could have been used purely for display and or as a communication structure, or possibly a mixture of communication, display, and interspecies combat as well as interspecific combat. We just don't know yet. As always, take care of my guys, gals, non-binary pals. Hope you enjoyed this special.